On a business trip out of town, I was woken up in the middle of the night by a phone call from the emergency. The doctor said my wife had a foreign object embedded and underwent surgery, but she was fine. I originally thought she had choked on food. But then the doctor mentioned he was from the proctology department. Instantly, I had a terrifying realization, and my mind went blank. I never imagined my wife would get into things wilder than I could have imagined. I quickly called a delivery driver and asked him to help me find out what was going on. Maybe I was overthinking it, but the delivery driver's message completely stunned me. Now I knew what that foreign object truly was. How wild did she have to get to end up in the air? And it was the proctology department. Even more ridiculously, the driver said it wasn't the first time that person had an extraction procedure. My mind reeled. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. My wife, who was too shy to even leave the lights on in bed. How could she play with something like this? The delivery driver must have heard wrong. No, I need her to explain this to me clearly. But I called her phone again and again, and no one answered. The faint hope I clung to slowly sank to the bottom. What the hell is going on? Why isn't she picking up? Back then, my family said she wasn't good enough for me, but I was determined to be with this innocent girl. I worked during the day, went to construction sites to move bricks at night, waited tables at a restaurant, and even drove for a rideshare app in a rented car late at night. I scrimped and saved, just wanting to earn more. I wanted her to live comfortably, so she wouldn't have to suffer any hardships with me. Seeing her looking so put together for work every day made me feel like all the exhaustion was worth it. In the past few years, my body had been so worn out by work that I ended up in the hospital several times. It wasn't until recently, when the company gave me a promotion and raise, that I had more time to spend with her. Had I given everything only to be betrayed? The 10th phone call finally connected. But what I heard was faint, suggestive moans. My anger surged, and I was about to burst into curses. The moment the screen lit up, a pink toy came into view. My eyelids twitched, and half my anger vanished. No way, so eager right after surgery. In the few years we'd been married, my wife, Grace, had changed completely, becoming exceptionally enthusiastic about this. I saw her half leaning against the headboard, her red lips slightly parted, drenched in sweat, and my mouth went dry. Now that I thought about it, I hadn't been home in a month. Was my wife really that lonely? No wonder she ended up in the air. Although I had my suspicions, I still asked with a cold expression, not sleeping in the middle of the night. Just doing this. Grace gently bit her lower lip and said piteously, I miss you so much I can't sleep. Honey Tilda, I should have been angry. After all, a married woman ending up in the air on her own would be quite embarrassing if anyone we knew found out. But her sweetly whispered honey still softened my heart a little. You miss me, so you have to play with those things. Are you satisfied now that you've ended up in the hospital? Grace said coyly, with a dreamy look in her eyes. Who told you to be on a business trip for so long? You said just a few days, but it's been a whole month. I stared fixedly at the pink box by the bed that hadn't been put away yet, a mix of emotions churning inside me. I coughed a few times to ease the awkwardness. How was the surgery? Does it still hurt? Grace's expression shifted slightly, and then she started being coquettish. It's nothing, I'll be discharged soon. Honey, will you come pick me up, please? Honestly, what man wouldn't want his woman to miss him like that? A woman so good at making a man feel wanted, how could she betray me? Grace was mature and sexy, and the way she was half revealed now was even more alluring. After so many years of marriage, I was still completely captivated by her. Hearing her say that was just irresistible. I quickly nodded, saying, okay, I'll be back tomorrow, I'll definitely come pick you up. She hesitated for a moment, her eyes flickering. Honey, why are you so unusual today? Looking at my wife's cautious expression, I was instantly filled with guilt. Damn me, how could I doubt such a good wife? I felt a bit cowardly and quickly interrupted her. I heard from the doctor that you ended up in the hospital. How could I not worry when I am not by your side? Grace's eyes instantly reddened, tears welling up. Honey, I know why you're upset, she said, her voice trembling with tears. As she spoke, she pulled my pajamas from her designer bag and gently rubbed them against her face. I didn't want to play, but I missed you too much. You don't know, every night holding your pajamas, I couldn't sleep. This action sent a shiver through my heart. You have to believe me, just like I'll always believe you. She looked at me through tear-filled eyes. In this life, either one I love most, My heart instantly melted. This woman, she knows exactly what to do. Every time she played the victim and was coquettish, my principles would instantly shatter. Now I just wanted to fly back to her, to hold her tight in my arms. If I didn't believe her now, I'd be a damn dog. After hanging up, I wanted to slap myself. I married such an enchanting woman, and I actually doubted her. After the video call, I was restless with desire. Looking at the bathroom mirror, I gave a self-deprecating laugh, preparing to take a cold shower to cool off. As I took off my clothes, I froze. My pajamas were clearly here. These pajamas were custom-made, with a unique pattern. There were only 2 pairs. One was with me, and the other was with Marcus. Marcus was my good friend. He didn't have any major flaws, except that he loved to pretend he was rich to pick up women. But now, I touched the pajamas in my suitcase, and my heart went cold. This was indeed my pair. So, whose pajamas were the ones Grace held? Could they be Marcus? I remembered my wife and Marcus never got along. She disliked Marcus for being a womanizer, fearing he'd lead me astray, and constantly advised me not to associate with him. My heart sank, and my mind became a tangled mess. My wife and Marcus, did they hook up behind my back? Just thinking about that image made me dizzy. Suddenly, the delivery driver texted me, "Brother, your wife reeked of alcohol, it was strong. She ended up in the hospital, so you should tell her to drink less." If I go home smelling like this after one delivery, my wife would kill me. I couldn't focus on his message, because I clearly remembered there was no alcohol at home, and had a terrible alcohol tolerance. She never touched a drop, yet she got this drunk when I wasn't home. What was she doing? Connecting that to her having Marcus clothes, a chill ran through me. They must have been having an affair behind my back, right? Damn it, the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I picked up my phone to call Grace, but reason told me not to act rashly. At least I needed to find evidence. I forced myself to calm down, grabbed my phone, and called Marcus. "You damn idiot, what's with those pajamas?" I said through gritted teeth. He paused. "What pajamas? Didn't you throw them away for me?" I froze. "What do you mean, thrown away? Just a while ago, you called me late at night to go fishing, and I came out in my pajamas. I'd had a bit to drink and fell into the water. The clothes were too wet to wear, so I just took them off in your car. I thought you'd thrown them away." I racked my brain and realized their asterisk was asterisk such an incident. Marcus, the drunkard, loved to get wasted for no reason, and I always had to clean up his mess. The last time we went fishing, he kept chugging alcohol and almost scared me to death when he fell into the pond. Indeed, he had gone home shirtless then. Maybe my wife thought they were my pajamas and took them home to wash. Fine, when are you going to pick up your clothes? They are not thrown away, your sister-in-law washed them, I snapped. Great. It's been a while since we hung out, brother. Just tell my sister-in-law to make some extra dishes to go with the drinks. Marcus was overjoyed. I almost choked on my own spit. Given's disdain for you, she wouldn't want you showing up and making a mess. Cook for you. In your wildest dreams. By the way, did you ever give my wife any alcohol? I asked casually. No, why would I have that kind of spare money? Besides, doesn't your sister-in-law never touch a drop? Marcus asked in a confused tone. It seemed Marcus truly didn't know, but if he really hadn't been to my place, where did the strong smell of alcohol come from? Could it be that Grace really bought it, and drank it herself? But she never liked alcohol. Why would she suddenly start drinking? Even if she drank, she wouldn't get into that state. Where did the alcohol smell on her come from? Lying in bed, my mind became more and more muddled. No. I have to go back and check. Yes. Right now. I drove for over 2 hours through the night, arriving home at dawn. Just as I was about to sleep, Marcus texted again. Brother, when are you coming back? Tomorrow. Your wife ended up in the hospital with a fever, so we'll pick her up and bring her home, all right. Oh, brother, did you take that energy supplement I gave you? I heard it's especially potent. You kid, what are you up to now? Brother, you don't know, that's good stuff. It'll guarantee you regain your vigor. When you get back, won't it be perfect for you and your sister-in-law? I stared blankly at the box of medicine on the nightstand. This guy might be unreliable usually, but he's certainly knowledgeable about these kinds of things. Thinking of Grace's strange behavior these past few days, Without thinking, I took the medicine after a week apart, and her being so eager, I needed to get a boost first. As I was getting ready for bed, I suddenly saw the corner of an exquisite box, peeking out from under the bed. What's under the bed? How did a box appear in the house? This wasn't Grace's style. Although she loved to buy things, she never hid them. After a moment of hesitation, I dragged the box out. I dragged it out, and saw it. Holy hell. Over a dozen sets of lingerie and photos. Lace, silk robes, mesh, and underneath, a stack of photos. I casually flipped through the photos. All of them were selfies of her wearing these outfits. Every single one was deliberately posed in a seductive manner. I squinted to look closer. The photos were marked with dates and locations, and even notes on poses and angles. The last photo almost made my nose bleed right then and there, a black lace camisole loosely draped on her. She knelt before the mirror, biting her finger, her eyes seductive. The ties on her back were half loose, partially revealing her body. It should have been a moment of surging desire, but sleepiness suddenly washed over me. I drifted into a hazy sleep. My dreams were filled with her wearing those outfits, writhing in front of me, uttering soft moans. Brother! Marcus' shout jolted me awake from my erotic dream. I brought your sister-in-law back. Why were you sleeping like a log today? I checked my watch. Damn it, it was already 4 in the afternoon. This sleep felt very wrong. Just then, my wife came out of the bathroom after showering, her hair still dripping. She gave Marcus a cold look. If he done, go home, your brother and I have something to discuss. Marcus, however, smirked meaningfully. Your sister-in-law is truly ruthless, kicking me out already. Why did his words sound so strange? That's enough out of you. I quickly got up and pushed him towards the door. How dare you speak to your sister-in-law like that? But he continued to chuckle. Took the medicine last night. So eager to kick me out. You two truly are a pair, so direct, when kicking people out. What did that mean? But the kid had already slipped away. I didn't think much of it. Grace grabbed my arm. Honey, don't mind him, he's just crazy. Wearing a silk camisole, she pressed herself against me. Her pretty face was slightly flushed from anger, and her voice was so soft and sweet it could melt butter. Don't contact him anymore. Look at the nonsense he talks. Looking at her pouting red lips, I couldn't resist leaning down and kissing her, but this siren suddenly pulled back, her big watery eyes filled with provocation. Honey, let's talk about it. After dark, Tilda, I have a surprise for you. Tilda, she breathed into my ear. I immediately thought of those photos. Was she going to play costume play tonight? Just thinking about it made my blood rush. You said it. I immediately drove out and bought her the jewelry she had long admired, although a few months' salary went down the drain. But thinking of the pleasure I'd have tonight, what was a bit of money? After setting up the candlelight dinner, I was about to call for her. As I reached the bedroom door, I heard suppressed gasps coming from inside. Was my wife this impatient? I secretly peeked inside and saw her facing the mirror, slowly tying a silk strap. I almost got a nosebleed right then and there. This siren, she was definitely doing it on purpose. I went back and took Marcus' medicine again. This time, I was determined to satisfy my wife. But before she even came out, I felt my body weaken, and my eyelids grew heavy. Before I could enjoy the night, I simply fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already deep into the night. The bed was empty, and Grace was nowhere to be seen. Why would she choose not to sleep now, of all times? Annoyed, I searched the entire house, but there was no sign of her. Where could she have gone so late? I picked up my phone to call her, but found her phone right on the pillow. Just then, the screen lit up. A message popped up from an account named Master. My hand trembled, and I almost dropped the phone. I opened it and felt sick to my stomach. These costume photos, which filled me with desire, were actually meant to please these men. Not just him, but also to accounts like Mr. Harrison, Kyle, and various others. They were all random men who had appeared from nowhere. I couldn't believe it. I frantically scrolled through the chat logs. No less than 50 men. The sickeningly sweet messages made my stomach churn. Every one of them was flirting with her, asking for private photos, specific angles, even clearly demanding poses. These men, under the guise of tipping, were playing with my woman. What made me absolutely furious were the transfer records. 100 for a photo, 500 for a set, a video even 1,000. This woman pretended to be innocent in front of me, but behind my back, she was doing all this with these men. I buy designer bags worth tens of thousands, without a second thought. Was she really short on this kind of money? The most damning thing was the pinned conversation. The address is this, wear that black outfit tonight. IVE booked the room, my blood boiled. I rushed out without even putting on a coat. I sped down the road, heading straight for the hotel indicated by the location. As I arrived at the hotel entrance, I saw a bald middle-aged man with his arm around Grace, getting out of a car. Her face was flushed, her clothes disheveled. She clearly couldn't wait. You rascal, so eager, she said, her coquettish voice making me sick. Let's go to the room first, Tilda baby, you just love this about me, don't you? The old man's face was full of smugness. I'll be careful this time, can't have you ending up in the hospital again. I couldn't hold back anymore. I burst out of the car, but as I took a step, my legs gave out, and I crumpled to the ground. What the hell? When did I get so weak? Back when I was desperately trying to earn money, I could move bricks at the construction site for hours without breaking a sweat. I used to carry steel bars at the construction site, and even the foreman said I had great stamina. But lately, something had felt off. My body was weaker each day. A few days ago, climbing to the 3rd floor left me panting. By the time I recovered, they were gone. I struggled to get back into the car, staring fixedly at the hotel entrance. There was nothing else I could do. Now I could only wait in the car for them to come out and catch them red-handed. 2 hours later, Grace walked out, her steps so unsteady she could barely stand. She must have had quite a wild time. I smirked coldly, about to get out of the car. Baby, another time. The old man chased out from behind her, not forgetting to whistle. Grace gave him a playful glance, twisted her waist, and slipped into another car. Wait, wasn't that Marcus' used car? My cheating wife, getting out of one man's car and into another's. And that man was my best friend. I was shaking with rage. I immediately called Marcus. Sure enough, suggestive moans came from the other end of the phone call. That bastard. I deliberately stammered. Jude, something big happened. I called the cops. They are on their way. What cops? Marcus' voice instantly changed tone. Brother, why are you calling the police in the middle of the night? I continued in a feigned anxious tone. Grace is missing. Her phone's at home. What if something happened to her in the middle of the night? I am afraid she... Are you crazy? Why would you call the police for that? Marcus' voice suddenly rose, almost cracking. I secretly chuckled to myself. Marcus must be scared stiff right now. I said coldly, Marcus, what do you mean? My wife is missing, and I can't call the police. No, brother, calm down. Marcus said, a guilty conscience evident in his voice, quickly trying to sound conciliatory. Maybe your sister-in-law is working overtime. I happen to be doing something nearby. I'll go check her company. Bullshit. Who would fall for that crap? Listening to him lying through his teeth, I really wanted to reach through the phone and rip his mouth off. But I didn't rush to speak. My purpose in calling Marcus was just to scare him and see how this cheating couple would act. Soon, Marcus texted me. He claimed Grace was indeed working overtime, and even thoughtfully attached a photo. Damn it, what woman works overtime wearing a camisole silk dress? He's messing with me, thinking I am an idiot. I transferred all the explicit chat logs and private photos to my phone. This was ironclad evidence. Let's see what excuses they could come up with. Lying on the bed at home, I was agitatedly smoking a cigarette. Grace had bought these cigarettes, saying they were good ones someone else gave her. They were probably from her sugar daddies. Just thinking about it made me sick. I suddenly remembered I had security cameras installed at home and immediately scrambled to open my computer. The moment the footage started playing, I almost flipped the table over. Marcus, that animal. The day I returned from my business trip, he actually snuck into my house while I was sleeping and messed around with my wife. They didn't even bother to close the door properly, as they entangled themselves in a passionate kiss. And they were doing that right next to me. Darling, when is he going to die? Marcus asked. Kissing her, I felt all the blood drain from my body. What's the rush? The ingredients for those meals are all meticulously prepared by me, plus the medicine you gave him. It'll take effect in a few months. Grace smiled seductively. My hands trembled violently. She had been making different dishes for me every day, while only having clear soup herself. She said it was to maintain her figure, but this asterisk was the real reason. Anne's medicine. No wonder they were messing around next to me, and I didn't even wake up. Once we get the insurance money, we'll run away together. I slammed the computer shut. This woman, for whom I'd given up everything, not only cuckolded me but also tried to kill me for money. I remembered how she had insisted I buy insurance, saying she was worried about an accident happening to me. I must have been blind. I got up and rushed to the hospital. The doctor told me that while the chronic poison administered wasn't fatal, it had caused irreversible damage. I'd never recover to my former state in this life. When I came out of the hospital, my eyes were red, but soon, an idea formed in my mind. If it was just infidelity, I'd simply divorce her and be done with it. But she tried to take my life, so she shouldn't blame me for being ruthless. She likes money, ha. Then I'll let her taste what it feels like to ruin herself for money. I grabbed a few designer items, and headed straight for Marcus' apartment complex. Just thinking about it made me angry. That bastard's down payment was borrowed from me, and now he was messing with my wife behind my back, even trying to kill me. Are you home? Come out for a drink. He didn't pick up, right? He was probably having a good time with my wife right now. Why would he bother with me? I just texted him. Do you know why the heir to the sterling fortune disappeared for 3 years? Because I am the heir to the sterling fortune in less than 3 minutes. Marcus rushed downstairs, not even having properly put on his pants. Damn it, brother, what did you say? He gasped. I expressionlessly opened my phone's photo album. Do you recognize this place? Sterling. His eyes widened. No way, not. I showed him a short video clip, footage of me at a gala a few years ago. Marcus' hand trembled. It's really you. I told him to get in the car. Let's talk. Want to grab a drink? Marcus' eyes darted around slyly, and he grinned so happily. Sure, my treat today. At the restaurant, I deliberately ordered the most expensive drinks and dishes. This place was famously expensive. One meal could cost half a year's salary for an average person. Seeing's gasping expression made me feel satisfied. What? Hurting financially? He chuckled nervously. No, brother. You order. Oh, by the way, what you just said about the Sterling family, is that true? I picked up my teacup and took a leisurely sip. Just kidding. I didn't want to eat alone, so I called you out to have some fun. Marcus' face turned ashen. After all, this extravagant meal was giving him indigestion. Seeing his fists clench, I smiled and pulled out my phone. Don't be angry. Let me show you something. The photos of celebrity parties in my photo album made Marcus' eyes widen. Galas, yachts, racing cars. Each photo showcased a lavish lifestyle. Oh, and it's all online. If you don't believe me, you can check it yourself. Marcus searched for a long time, his hand trembling. Damn. Your dad is worth hundreds of billions. Hey, isn't his birthday coming up soon? What I wanted to tell you today was about this. My dad recently sent someone to bring me back. I sighed. It's his birthday, and he wants to mend our relationship, but I am too ashamed to go back. No way, brother. You have to go back. The bastard was so anxious he stood up. Brother, this isn't the time to throw a tantrum. You have to go back. I shook my head. Going back isn't that simple. If I go back empty-handed, I'll be disgraced. Damn it. Marcus slapped his thigh. That's easy. How much do you need? I still have some savings. Brother, my house is worth a few million if I sell it. I sneered. That bastard truly couldn't resist temptation. However, I still pretended to be very touched. Oh, I couldn't possibly. That's all your savings. He rubbed his hands together. It's nothing. We're good friends. And your dad's like a dad to me too. Besides, once he's back with the Sterling family, he'll have everything. Just give me some pocket money. That'll be enough. HMPH. Dreaming big. I deliberately showed a troubled expression again. But if I go back, will your sister-in-law be angry if she finds out I lied to her? Marcus immediately waved his hand. Don't worry, he'll talk to your sister-in-law. She'll support you going home more than anyone. Watching the bastard eagerly run back to act as a lobbyist, I sneered. Given's money-hungry nature, she'd certainly be eager for me to go home if she heard she could be a wealthy socialite's wife. Sure enough, before I even got home, the phone call came. Grace's voice was trembling. Is what Marcus said true? He really a rich second generation? I didn't speak, essentially confirming it. She immediately shrieked, "You! How could you do this? You bastard! You've been deceiving me all this time. I thought you were an honest man, that's why I was with you. Turns out you're just a disrespectful son." Then, her tone shifted abruptly, and she pretended to be virtuous. "Our dad is getting old, his biggest wish must be to see you. Honey, we have to go back and show him filial piety. You take this money first to buy gifts." I stifled my disgust and agreed, "You're right, I should go back and see him." Then, I reluctantly accepted the $1 million that Grace transferred to me. "Wife, he's so good to me, after we go home, he'll be in charge of the household finances. You won't need to work anymore, you've really suffered with me these past few years." Grace's heart instantly fluttered, and she quickly said, "Really? Then, he'll go home first. My parents still have some savings." After hanging up, she texted me a message, "Don't eat the leftovers in the fridge. Just order takeout. Oh, they contain your medicine, huh?" Since I was still useful to them, she granted me a temporary reprieve. The next morning, Grace hurriedly rushed back. "Honey, it's done." She threw herself into my arms, being coquettish, "A full $3 million. It's all my parents' savings, originally meant for my brother's wedding fund." I nodded excitedly. "Don't worry, once we're back with the Sterling family, I'll let your brother pick out socialites directly." She instantly perked up. "Oh, honey, even though my brother didn't finish high school, you have to remember his kindness, and arrange a good job for him later." Listening to her endless fantasies, I wanted to laugh. She wasn't satisfied yet and added, "And my parents sold their hometown house to raise this money. They are already downstairs, they'll stay here for a few days. You don't mind, do you?" My face fell. "Wife, my dad really dislikes people playing the sympathy card. What if he finds out?" She immediately panicked. Then should they stay in a hotel? I breathed a sigh of relief, finally keeping that family out. However, $3 million was an unexpected bonus. "You've always taken advantage of me before, I'll have to spit out this money with interest." Grace went to arrange her family's check-in at the hotel. Since they didn't have much money, the family was squeezed into a grungy little room. The listening device I had placed in her wallet's secret compartment transmitted her arrogant voice, "Dad, Mom, just bear with it a little longer. Once your son-in-law is back with the Sterling family, forget one house, I'll buy each of you a mansion." Her words were certainly bold. Why didn't she think, with her character, did she even deserve to enter the Sterling family? Since I had the money, it was time for me to go home. The moment I pushed open the front door, I immediately fell to my knees. It had been 4 years. This was my first time home. "You good-for-nothing." Henry's cane sharply struck my back. Margaret, however, held me close. Sobbing uncontrollably, I knew that woman was no good. "It's only been a few years, and Cher's already cuckolded you." I didn't dare mention her attempt to kill me for insurance. Not because I couldn't bear it, but because I didn't want my parents to get involved in such filth. "Mom and Dad, don't worry, I know what I am doing, but they clearly misunderstood me." Henry's face darkened. "You kid, you're not still thinking of forgiving her, are you?" Margaret stomped her foot in anger. "Are you addicted to being humiliated? You were a pushover a few years ago, and now you're cuckold." My sharp-tongued mom hadn't changed a bit, and her words made my nose sting. "Mom and Dad, don't worry, he'll get a divorce." Outside the door, Marcus was hovering like a puppy. I quickly put on a smile. "My dad is very pleased." The bastard was even more excited than I was. "Brother, your dad agreed to let you come back. When will he see me?" I stifled my disgust, still playing this adopt a rich dad game. "Huh. My dad isn't well, but he's hosting a birthday gala next week, and you all have to come. I'll introduce you then." Marcus rubbed his hands together. His greed practically oozed from his eyes. "Damn. Will there be rich, beautiful women? Introduce some to your brother." "Of course there will be." Marcus eagerly offered to drive me home, not forgetting to probe, "Brother, you're not going to live in this old house anymore, right? Why not sell it to me cheaply?" I ignored him. As I pushed open the front door, I saw Grace rushing towards me. "Honey, I am pregnant." This woman certainly knows how to pick her moments. The baby's paternity wasn't even certain, and she dared to pin it on me. Suppressing the urge to throw her out, I feigned happiness. That's great. We're having a gala next week anyway. It'll make mom and dad happy. Invite all your relatives and friends. I want them to see what a wonderful wife I've found for myself. Her eyes lit up. This woman was extremely vain. Upon hearing she could make an appearance with the Sterling family, she would definitely want to show off. Just let her gloat for a couple more days. I went back to the bedroom and sent invitations to all her rivals. This gathering was only for Grace's and Marcus' social circles. Even if I was an idiot, I wouldn't bring shame to my parents. This grand show was finally about to begin. I had already prepared the evidence. As for Grace, she had been very smug these past few days, constantly buying luxury items with the money I gave her, and practicing socialite poses in front of the mirror. Just let her show off for a couple more days. On the day of the gala, just as I was about to publicly humiliate her, the woman pulled a vanishing act. We had left together just now, but she was nowhere to be seen. While asking security to check the security camera, I unexpectedly found a 10-minute segment of footage from earlier. Grace and her brother, Leo, almost got into a fight in the stairwell. Are you damn crazy? Pregnant with Richard's baby, and trying to marry into the Sterling family. His legitimate wife is already coming after you. What if it blows up? I didn't know back then. You didn't know shit. You almost killed our cash cow, and now you've tangled with Richard's family. Do you want to ruin our entire family? That baby has to go. Leo roughly pushed Grace down the stairs. For our family's future, that baby cannot stay. Damn, this bombshell was truly shocking. I was double cuckolded, and her brother actually took matters into his own hands, and gave Grace an abortion. Birds of a feather flock together. I copied the footage directly and called the police. In the ballroom, Grace had already changed into an evening gown, standing there, her face ghostly pale. I had underestimated her. Even after having an abortion, she was forcing herself to come out. Of course, I wouldn't soften because of it. Grace saw me, and immediately came over, being coquettish. Honey, you're finally here. I smiled, patting her head. Wait and see the surprise I've prepared for you. The woman thought I was going to show some glamorous photos, and started boasting to a few colleagues, who had always disliked her. See, my husband is a rich man. Just wait, and see the romance he's prepared for me. I sneered and snapped my fingers. The projector screen lit up. Chat logs, intimate videos, security camera footage. Grace instantly froze on the spot, then collapsed to the floor. Several of her colleagues burst out laughing on the spot. Finally, the security camera footage, videos of her sleeping with other men, as well as her conversation with Leo, all came to light. The entire ballroom fell silent. Marcus' girlfriend rushed over and slapped her several times. Bitch. How dare you seduce my boyfriend? Are you looking for a death wish? The loud slap echoed in the silent ballroom. Grace's cheek instantly swelled, and a trickle of blood oozed from the corner of her mouth. Grace tried to explain, but her face was too swollen to even open her mouth. Whispers and pointing filled the air. People, who used to fawn over her, as well as those who always disliked her, now looked at her like she was a maggot in a sewer. Grace's body was already very weak after the abortion. After being beaten like that, and facing ridicule from those around her, she directly fainted to the ground. As for Marcus, he ran pretty fast, driving too recklessly. The car crashed into a concrete barrier on the side of the road. Soon after, a police car and an ambulance arrived. Police cuffed Leo and took him away, as he had intentionally caused harm leading to a miscarriage. Grace was also supposed to be arrested, but she had already fainted, and had to be sent to the hospital first. Marcus, too, was pronounced dead. Good riddance to such scum. Grace went crazy after she woke up, constantly muttering that she was a wealthy woman. Her parents were also furious. Their money was gone. Their lives had been for nothing, and their son was in jail. They went straight to the hospital and gave Grace a severe beating and scolding. After that, they couldn't be bothered with her anymore, and simply abandoned her and left. After was discharged from the hospital, she disappeared, presumably ending up on the streets. In short, all that messy business was finally over, and done with. Kid, since you back, hurry up and take over the company. Margaret and I are going on a honeymoon. Listening to Henry's nagging, Alex smiled happily.